All right, good to see everyone. Richard, good to see you.
Hello.
We're gonna talk about how to handle the I'll start the new year Christmas objection. And we're gonna look at, in particular, three different reframes that allow us to sell more this holiday season. Because chances are, like, right this during this time of year, any sales conversation that we have typically end with I will 100% budget for this after the new year. This sounds great, Chris, but I'll just do it after Christmas because it's very busy, or I'll be ready for this come January. Just follow up with me then. And you schedule a follow up with them, and they're nowhere to be found. They either cancel the meeting, they want to reschedule for March, and they're nowhere to be seen. So how do we prevent this? Like, what can we say before the objection comes? What can we say when the objection comes? So we can close the sale, be done with it. We don't have to chase them around, and we also bring in some revenue before the new year comes. So we can buy some gifts to have under the Christmas tree. So first of all, how we have to pre-frame the objection. We have to create the right environment to prevent that objection from happening in the first place. That will make our jobs much, much easier rather than having to butt heads in the end. Because we're going to look at how to do that as well. But how much easier life gets if I say the right things ahead of time and I can prevent that objection. So here's how to do it. After asking a couple of questions, so we can ask, our usual opener questions, our present reality questions, things like, for example, if they're coming to get more sales, we can ask a present reality question that goes like, okay, so what do you have in place now to get more sales? So after we start the conversation and they start opening up, I can say something like this. Chris, I want to say kudos for getting on this call today to look at possibly changing your situation. Because I'll tell you what, this time of year, like a lot of people, they've been meaning to make a change all year, yet they keep pushing it back for the sake of a few days. Then the new year comes and they say, I'm just swamped with the rush of the new year. I'll just do this on Valentine's Day. Then the Valentine's Day comes and life always gets busy and they never do anything about fixing the problem. They keep having the same problem over and over and they keep pushing it back. So I just wanted to say, well done for not falling into that trap and actually considering doing something now so you don't keep having the same problem. Now, what did I do? And I'll give you a shorter version as well. But what am I doing here? Before they start telling me, hey, this is something I want to do after the new year, I am rewarding the behavior I want to see. I'll say it again, this is important. I am rewarding the behavior I want to see before I say it. When I do that and when I plant that seed, they are much, much more motivated to make that decision that I want them to make. So essentially, just to repeat the script again, we're having a quick back and forth, a couple of questions, 5 minutes into the conversation, 3 to 5 minutes in. I will say this pre-framing anchoring statement because I want to anchor in their minds that successful people don't postpone things. They get started before the new year. They don't postpone things. So what I will tell them is, Chris, I just want to say kudos for getting on this call today, like respect to look at possibly changing your situation. What a lot of people right before the holidays, they've already put up their feet on their couch and they start chilling. They're waiting for Christmas. But you've shown up to this call, you're taking action towards solving the problem. And chances are that's why we see our most successful clients do. Like they get started, they want to fix the problem, they don't postpone it. So regardless if we work together, respect for just showing up and even considering making a change. I'm also introducing, I want you to hear my language because I'm introducing disarming language. I'm not saying congrats for buying today before they bought. I'm just saying, regardless if we work together, this reduces all the resistance, the sales resistance in their mind. Kudos, like, well done for even showing up, because most people wouldn't even show up on this call. Is everyone with me on this one? Like, this is essentially a hook that seeds the us versus them idea. If you want to separate yourself from the masses, you do things differently. If you want to do things differently, you start making changes before the new year. So just to repeat myself, this pre-frame seeds in the prospect's mind that they're not one of the many, but they are the 1% of the people that actually take action towards their goals. Now, what happens if we use the reframe, but we still get a Christmas objection? Here's how we handle it. So when okay, so let's take a pause. If you say most people don't show up to this call, sounds sad. The pre-frame that I will use this line only when it comes to this time of year, Anna. So this is the only reason I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna throw rocks at the identity that person doesn't want to be. That's the only thing that I will. That's the only time period I will say that. I don't say this regularly, but if I have a call with someone on the 15th of December, for example, or in the 10th of December, I can say most people would choose to postpone this call and have this after January. Yep. This is especially for this period, right? From the 20th of November up until the 25th. Yep, exactly. I say I want to reward the behavior that I want to see, and I want to show them that they're special because they're showing up to make a change. That's what I want to plant. I'm not gonna say, oh, most people don't even show up to this call. Of course not. I will say in particular, this period, especially if it's 5 days out of Christmas, I will reward them. Like, most people wouldn't book a call, I can say. Most people wouldn't book a call at this time of year because they're out there shopping, but you're here with me together looking to make a change. Respect. So how do we handle when they say, sounds good, I just get started in the new year. Thank you. Congrats on the wedding. I appreciate you. Sounds good. I'll get started in the new year. First, I want to diffuse the objection, and I will say, that's not a problem. May I ask, how long has it been since you've been wanting to make a change? So essentially, when they say, sounds good, I'll get started in the new year, what are they telling me? They're telling me it's a variation of, let me think about it, right? They're choosing to postpone. So I want to reframe their mindset from, I'm going to think about buying, or I'm going to think about getting started, to, I'll reframe this, to making a change to their problem. So I'm shifting their focus from a purchasing decision to making a change and solving their problem. So I will say, that's not the problem. May I ask, how long has it been since you've been wanting to make a change? So they will say 3 months, for example. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to say, okay, so in those 3 months, and that depends on what you're selling, but in my case, I can say, okay, so in those 3 months, how many sales have you missed out on because you haven't made the change? If you're selling a weight loss product, you can say, okay, so in those 3 months, what do you feel you've missed out on because you haven't started losing weight those 3 months? And I want them to brainstorm, oh, for sure, I could have had more energy. For sure, I could have had more revenue. For sure, I would have had this and that and that. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to say, I see. So do you want to keep missing out on 5 sales a month every 3 months by pushing this decision? Or do you actually want to make a change? Let me repeat that. So I'm going to use the data that they just gave me, because I don't want to seed problems, right? What I don't want to do is start becoming combative and say, oh, you're gonna miss out on so many sales, you're gonna keep being, I'm trying to be politically correct, overweight, you're gonna keep being this, you're gonna keep being that. I want them to give me what they're missing out. So I'm gonna say, I see, so do you want to keep missing out on 5 sales every 3 months by waiting, or do you actually want to make a change? And now I will shift it by asking a nightmare question. I will say, because which one is riskier? Is it riskier to actually take action and start solving these problems so you can stop missing out on 5 sales a month? Or is it more risky to stay exactly where you are, keep missing out on all of those sales in December, January, February? Now, which is riskier in your mind there? So this shows them that there is a massive gap that they're leaving open if they don't move forward. Here, someone will typically say, if I've done my job during the call, they will say, well, it is much more riskier to keep doing nothing. And here I'm going to ask why though? Like, why is it much more risky to keep doing nothing? This question is key because when you ask them why, they'll sell themselves on why they should do it. They'll sell themselves on why they should do it right then and there. So once they reply, just ask for the sale, say something like, so where would you like to go from here? Or you can say, so what's the best next step for us? And you can sign them up. Any questions up to this point before we move into the third reframe? Any questions about how we've handled things so far? Richard, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't think that worked. No, so we could start that like even Monday because they start waffling about this stuff.
Absolutely. Like starting Monday, like you have to use this pre-frame if you want more sales. Like you will go on to your usual, you will follow your script, you will start asking them questions, but the moment they come in and you ask them the first couple, you can say, hey, I just want to say kudos for, coming by. Most people, they're busy, Black Friday, they're looking for the latest deal, shopping around, but you're here, you're looking out to make a change, so you're not in pain during the holidays. So just respect for that.
I like that when you say make a change. I'm going to start using that also. Make a change. I'm glad you're here. You want to make a change in your health.
Yeah, because that's what they're buying. They're buying change, right? If they accept that they're making a change and, hey, I'm ready to make a change in my life, they're going to buy from the person that's in front of them. Jason, good to see you.
But and then one more thing, you just do this probably after the greeting.
Yep. You can do it after the greeting. So you can say, hey, Chris, good to see you here. It looks like you booked with us about, possibly getting an adjustment to get rid of your pain. Do you know what you're looking for specifically when it comes to, getting rid of your pain? Oh yeah, I have chronic headaches, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and I want to say, kudos for swinging by. It's the 20th of November here. Most people are out there looking for the latest deal for the Black Friday, buy another TV. You're showing up and you're ready to make a change. So you're not in pain during the holidays. So I just want to say, kudos for showing up.
Yeah, and I could say, I see a lot of people, they push it off to the first of the year. Yeah. First of the year comes, they push it off to Valentine's Day, and they're still in pain. So I appreciate you coming.
Because I'll tell you, Chris, most people come in, they get adjusted and then they push it in February. They're sitting down in the Christmas table and they can't sit straight because their back is screwed. Their back is screwed up. And they're in pain.
Start this Monday.
Yep, 100%.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. So let's look at, so I gave you the language. I'm going to give you a little bonus here. because we talked about internal motivation. These are the questions that you ask in the pre-frames to create internal motivation based on the gap they have inside of them and what we've created. But we can use some external motivators only for this period, just to create some sales as well. So this is depending on what you're selling, of course. So take it as it is. You can schedule a price increase. So if you're planning on raising your prices in the future, you can simply schedule it for January and make November and December the last opportunity to get it at the current price. So you can say this is the cheapest it will ever be. If you buy the new year, it will be 20% more expensive, or however much the price increase you want it to be. You can also add a bonus. This is a good opportunity. Instead of discounting, for example, for Black Friday or discounting for Christmas, you can add bonuses. So, for example, if you're offering group coaching, can you add one-on-one support? Can you increase the length? Get 2 months free. Can you add sessions? So I'm not going to take away from my value, or I'm not going to take away from the price. I'm just going to add value in terms of bonuses, again, as a way to get them to take action right then and there. I have them in front of me. Let's motivate them so they don't push it for the next year. And I can also add a new thing. Like, again, it depends on what you're selling, but can you offer more done for you aspects? Can you spread payments out further in terms of weekly payments or monthly payments? Can you add, virtual or physical events to support them more? So these are more external motivators. I don't suggest, because a lot of people use them as crutches to replace a lackluster sales process. But for this time of year, because people, their default is to push it to the next year and end up not making a change, I would suggest you can implement a few external motivators as well. Let's look at the third reframe, and this is, I won't have time during Christmas. So this is the case when the prospect thinks they won't have time to use the solution. They will be busy, etc. So truth is that the reality is with everyone, we almost never have the time to do anything new in our busy lives. Like we're always busy. It's not about the time, it's about priorities, right? So we want to challenge that, but in order for me to challenge that effectively, I have to accept it. That when that person is telling me I don't have the time, I have to view it as a lie. That's just the reality. Because if you don't view it as a lie, you're not going to have the certainty to help them overcome it. These are just facts. These are just from the energy you have. You're going to lack certainty if in the back of your mind, that person is telling me, oh, I'm going to be super busy during the holidays. If a tiny voice in your head says, oh, he's right, he will have family over, you're done. No matter what you say, you're going to lack the certainty to help them overcome the objection. So once you accept it, here's the language that you can use. Mr. Prospect, that's not a problem. I can understand how you're thinking you might not have the time to do this. May I make a suggestion? How much time do you think this takes? They're going to say, oh, well, I don't know. It might take 10 hours. It might take 5 hours. You don't want to challenge that. You're going to say, well, if you allow me, it's not about the time that you have. It's really about how much time you're willing to put aside to solve the problem, right? So you can put yourself in a position where you can get the result that you want. So what do you think is a reasonable amount of time to put towards solving X and Y and Z problem? What am I doing here? I am reframing, again, their mindset from, I don't have time to do your thing, to how much time do you think you can set aside so you can start solving the problem? And now they may be able to tell me, I have 2 hours a week, I have 5 hours a week. What I will do, and of course I don't want to lie by any means, but people tend to overestimate how much time it takes. So if they tell me, oh, I have about 5 hours a week, I will say, okay, well, our clients typically see results with about 3 hours a week. Now, is that something that you can do so you can solve the problem? They will typically say, oh, I didn't know it took that, it only took this much. And I will say, so now that you know that you're able to do this, that you have the time, are you willing to do it so you can fix the problem? I'm always tying them making a change, them doing this to solving the problem. People need to hear it. It might sound repetitive, but I always need to tie it back to them getting what they want. Another phrase that you can use is, so what is it that you need to do to put yourself in the best possible position so you can be able to achieve what you want? So I want always to make them feel that making a change, making a decision now before the new year is going to put them in the best possible position to achieve X and Y and Z. Because here's the thing. With every new purchase, it's interesting how human psychology works. The highest dopamine hit I want to receive when I actually solve my problem. The highest dopamine hit, this is based on science, the highest dopamine hit I will receive when I make the commitment to a solution to fix the problem. Think this through. The highest dopamine hit I will receive when I buy the solution, when I spend, because I'm showing myself that I'm committing to something to fix the problem. So inherently, in my subconscious mind, I'm communicating, hey, I'm taking steps to solve the problem. And that's when the dopamine hit. You receive the dopamine hit. Questions, doubtful points. Let's unpack it. Just to summarize that we're coming up with questions, we want to start by pre-framing the objection. We want to make sure that we're diffusing and we're reframing the decision of them buying my thing to them making a change so they can solve their problem. I can also use external motivators when it comes to scheduling a price increase, adding bonuses, adding new things that won't be available the new year. I'm going to take those away. And also I want to get them to realize that it's not about the time that they have, it's about priorities. So I have to show them that, again, it's of vital importance for them to find the time so they can take steps towards getting what they want. They can start implementing, they can start doing things during the holidays. Any questions that we have? It can be about handling the New Year, Christmas objection, or any other challenge that you have around yourselves. Richard, go for it. I can't, you're muted. You're muted, I can't hear you.
Yeah, can you just go over the time again? And like say, oh, I have 5 hours to do this, and say, well, it takes 3 hours. You know how you at the last part about the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically for you, like, because it's about the sessions.
Yeah.
You will say, yeah, first I will say, yeah, that's not a problem. I can understand where you're coming from when it comes to you feeling not having the time. You know, how much time do you think this takes when it comes to alleviating your pain so you can stop having headaches?
Yeah.
So,
you know, 2 hours or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 hours. So when they tell me, you know, I have 2 hours, you can customize your, you know, sessions accordingly. So you can,
Yes.
yeah. So if you only have 2 hours, what we can do is the typical session is 45 minutes. We can get started with this thing this week, X and Y, and like we can start with the first session, 45-minute session this week. This will help unlock this and this and this. And next week, what we can do is a massage for another 45 minutes. So you at least have some, you know, range of motion you can turn without pain. And we can continue with the rest after the holidays.
Yeah, because the massage is an extra 30 minutes. Say, okay, if you don't have the time for the massage, that's okay. We could just see me.
Exactly. So I will say that, and I will say, so do you feel that I will get their confirmation on that, right? So I will say, is that something that you're able to do so you can, you know, become pain-free during the holidays, so you can be pain-free during the holidays? Oh, yes, I can. Okay, perfect. In your pricing, I would move them towards committing for the full 12-month, you know, for the full, let's say, 12-session package.
Yeah.
So what I can say is, okay, perfect. So, you know, before we will have this next week, 2 sessions. Typically for us to make the pain go away long term and you don't have to worry about it over and over, it typically takes 12 sessions. Now, if you're willing to commit and pay in full then and there, you will get a discount. Typically it's, you know, 2,000. But if you're willing to commit, pay in full, I would love to have you as a client for 1,500, for example. So this is how you can incentivize the full pay instead of them, you know, paying for session.
Yeah, per visit. Yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
All right, good. Thanks.
Does that help?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Anna, yeah, appreciate sharing sources when science is referenced. 100%. I need to find the studies. It should be in the book from Cialdini, not the well-known one, in the persuasion, but I will find the study and send it to you. Any other questions that we have? Questions, objections that we're getting, role plays, we're not sure how the next level looks like. I'm here to unlock things for you.
I mean, since I have you on here, I mean,
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna, you know, I got my lab coat and stuff, so I'm gonna reshoot that whole video for you, and then I'll send it up tomorrow. See if you like it.
Yeah. Did you record it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it Monday. I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
I just got the coat, so I got it. I'm gonna press it, and then I'm gonna put a tie on. I'll shoot it up to you. You look at it first.
Yeah. It's just interesting. This is, I believe, the second or the third Cialdini. This is also a principle from Cialdini. Like, people appeal to authority.
Yeah.
So when you have a lab coat on, you seem, it's not that you're not legit, again, but people are silly. Like, they say, don't judge a book by its cover. It's something that we do every single minute, not just day. So yeah.
You know, it looks like I do have a stethoscope downstairs. I don't know if you just want me to throw it on around my neck. I mean,
Throw it on. Yeah, it helps. It doesn't hurt for sure.
It won't hurt.
Yep, 100%. I would
I
go.
don't know. I guess we're getting this Facebook thing figured out. I got to send you the Facebook one thing you wrote for me. I'm gonna send it back to you. I'm not getting any hits on it. I mean, we tested it, but it's only been up for like 4 days, so I
Test
don't
it
know.
out. I would also record the story that we put together, because that shows more vulnerability and people can resonate with it. And again, I would try, if you haven't done so far, Instagram boost ads.
Yes,
Because
I'll tell her to send that. Yeah,
yeah,
I
because
told her to send that. Yeah.
yeah, like you have to, because they use a different mechanism versus Facebook. Like everyone uses Facebook, not everyone uses this particular Instagram functionality, and it's working very well right now.
All right, I'm gonna tell her to load it up. And then
Yeah,
I guess since we're on the phone right before I let you go here, so when I shoot that Sarah story, I mean, you said very empathetic. So just give me like, you can make something up right now, Chris. Like, what was the tone is empathetic, but what do you think? Like, how would you the whole thing? Would you do empathetic?
yeah. Let me find the script here, because I don't want to pull stuff out of my behind.
Yeah, you could pull something out of your house. I just understand just the tone, really.
Yeah. But what was the patient's name?
Well, we'll do Sarah's story. We're doing Sarah's story.
Okay.
You wrote one up.
Yeah.
It's
Let me just find.
Facebook 3.
Yeah, okay. So I have it in front of me. So here's how you can, break it down. Here's the tone that you can use.
Yeah, just the tone.
So when Sarah first came to me, she was in severe pain. Like, she had taken the pills, she went to the doctors, even tried surgery. The reality is nothing works. Like, the drilling pain in her back wouldn't let her sleep, work, and it took a toll in her day to day. When she contacted me, she was a bit hopeless, and she didn't really think it would work, right? But she really told me, like, in our first session together, what do I have to lose? I'm in pain regardless, so I might just well do it. I smiled. I told her, let's give it a shot, Sarah, and let's see where this takes us. And we did X and Y and Z treatments for weeks, and it took some care. But after 5 weeks, she was able to finally be pain-free. Like, she called me up excited, and she was like, hey, doc, I can finally sleep. Now, the reality is, I've helped thousands of patients just like Sarah, but Sarah really sticks out to me because she had done it all, and she tried everything until we finally fixed it with some intensive adjustments, X and Y and Z. So if you, like Sarah, want to find that long-lasting relief, you can try out my adjustment session for only $21. Now, book now and get one of these spots for only $21. We have a full adjustment, we'll have the exam, and see what you need most to find relief and get healthy. This is Dr. Richard. This is my address, Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you there.
All right, so you just almost a little bit. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Yeah,
we're good.
I'm gonna do the second one this week. That's a little bit more upbeat.
Yep.
Like the one is like, would you take me up on that offer? I'm just kind of like curious in the beginning.
Yeah. That's an offer-based ad. That's, hey, are you in pain? Give me $21, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Like, you're leading with it.
Yeah. All right, and I'll send that to you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your help.
Absolutely. Joe.
How's it going, Chris?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Curious about just the end of the year script, and just kind of a slight nuance to it. So I've been told a couple of times in the past couple of weeks that it's the end of the year, but the new fiscal year starts in January. So yeah, everything looks good. This looks great, but we're at the end of our fiscal year. It doesn't start until January.
Yeah.
When we have the budget and things like that. So it's kind of the same end of the year, but slightly.
Yeah. Let's all play it out. How do you mean at the end of fiscal year? Just so I understand.
Well, our budget and finances were set for this year. We've gone through it now, so we don't. I don't have anything in our budget until January to pay for this.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I guess besides the budget, do you feel this will get you to where you want to go?
I do. Yeah.
Why though?
Some of the things that we talked about,
Yeah.
with onboarding and support and stuff like that. So it looks good. I just don't have the
But what do you feel that because you don't have the right onboarding process, what do you feel you're missing out on? Like, you be real with me. Like, I want you to win.
we could be missing out on participants and donations and things like that. I don't have it completely quantified, but
Like, how many events do you host per year?
usually 3. We're thinking about adding another one.
Yeah, so 3 events. And how many participants do you usually have?
It's gone down since COVID, but we've been
Right.
trying to get back up to pre-COVID levels.
Yeah.
So, a few hundred per event.
So a few hundred per event. And because, as you mentioned, you have a lackluster onboarding process, like how many participants, if you're getting, let's say 200 participants, like how many more do you feel that you had and actually donating if you had a more robust onboarding process? Ballpark.
Yeah, it would be more. I don't know exactly what it is.
Would it be 10%? Would it be 1%? Like, what do you think?
10% is probably
10%. So if it's 10% on 200, that's about 20. And if you have 2 events, that's about 40 participants. Now, how much is your average donation? Or 3 events, 60. Like, how many? What would be an average donation? And you can, lowball it.
Yeah. It depends on the event, but we see anywhere from $150 to $250 per participant.
Let's go with 100. Right? I don't want to overshoot it. So help me out here. I'm not a math genius. 60 times 100. How much is that?
Yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah, it's about six grand.
Okay, so 6,000. Yeah, I guess you tell me. How do you think you can resolve it where you can come up with the budget, with the funding required, so you don't have to keep missing out on, 6,000 every single year?
It's a really
Yeah, because which is more risky, right? Is it more risky for you to go back to your manager and tell him, hey, we came up that we're missing out on 6,000? Or is it more risky to do nothing at all? You keep missing out on 6,000 every single year, and we just wait for, the budget to show up.
It sounds very simple when you put it like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not me, right? It's what the numbers say.
Yeah. So this is this is really just I need to look at something like that, like a budget objection, and it's not really an end of the year objection.
Yeah.
It's budget. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to remember, like, when they say budget, like, what does budget mean at the end of the day? Like, it's out of our budget. Like, what the budget is something, an imaginary number that they came up with to solve a problem. But how can they come up with how can anyone come up with an appropriate number in their budget if they don't have a full picture of the problem?
Right.
Like, what we did together, like this rough version, is we came up how much the problem is costing them.
Yeah.
And it can be 6,000 for the year, it can be 2,000 per event, whatever.
Yeah.
So budgets change.
And not to just
No, please
dig into that a little bit more. I'm just thinking of just some of my past conversations. So that's something that our company, we pride ourselves on the amount of average donation and things like that through our platform. When I ask folks about it, it's surprising that a lot of people don't really know what their, average donation would be for events. But I guess it's just getting them to ballpark it is the key there. If they can't tell you exactly like, oh, how many donors are you missing out on? What's your average gift for these events? And they're like, I'm not really sure what my
that's no
average gift
if you
is.
thought about it. Like, first of all, I press them. Second, I will calculate it with them. Okay, last event. Like, how many you have? Okay, how much did you raise? 1 million. Okay, so you raised 1 million out of 1,000 people. That's X. That's the average donation.
Right.
Like, I'm not there to solve an equation, right? I'm just gonna say ballpark.
Right.
And if I get the last event, okay, but you can't calculate it like that because our last event was a huge one. Okay, give me the lowest event that you had during this 2-year period.
Yeah.
And I want you to see, like, during our interaction, I didn't overflate the numbers. Instead, I shrunk them. Did you see that? Because you told
me I like, yes.
100. Yep. I'm like, okay, so let's do 100. Because what I don't want to happen, they can't combat that. Oh, you're bloating up the numbers. No, I just shrunk them.
Yep.
I'm not trying to plant anything. I'm just showing you the numbers that you gave me. I thought the question was, how do you handle Christmas offers when someone can only start spending in January? But that's the thing. Like, why can't they spend in January? Like, is their bank account blocked? Like, this is us accepting the objection. That's what I don't want to happen with you guys. I don't have to accept their reality. I have my reality and I'm happy with it. Again, our budgets, like, what does that mean? Right? And I'm not saying they will buy 100% of the time when you do this, but you at least have to challenge that. Like, it's not that they have a piggy bank and it's made out of steel in December, and in January suddenly they can break it open. They can spend the money in December. The companies reallocate funds. So if they get a tax bill, so let's look at it like that. If you get a tax bill for $2,000 and all their money is spent, and they're about to make a hire December 31st that they're going to spend $2,000 on, it's impossible for them to reallocate the funds if they know that they're going to receive a fine January 1st. They're going to reallocate the funds. It's just what they're telling you. Like, that's an easy way out. Oh, we don't spend. Oh, you're not going to spend? So the software that you're paying right now, the money isn't going to come out of your bank account. You're going to freeze payments. Like, it's just not valid. It's something that they say to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Anna, as well? Like, I want you to be clear on this. It's kind of like someone telling you, I don't have the time to do this. Well, no one has time for anything additional. Like, I don't have time to do this session. I could have been watching Netflix and I could send an email, hey, I'm not going to do this. I don't have time to do this. It's about priorities. I prioritize doing this session. It's the same thing. It's just that if I have to show them that it's worth spending, and it's not even spending, it's investing the money to start solving the problem before the holidays. It's just that they make assumptions about their reality because that's an easy way out. Oh, I'm gonna make a decision after Christmas. That's essentially what they're telling you about spending. Well, how can you motivate them to have that conversation before Christmas, though? I'm not gonna push them, but I want to show them that every single day or every single event or every single thing that what they're missing out on by keep on pushing the decision away. I hope this is helpful. Anything else? Going once, going twice. Awesome. Good stuff. We're back every single Sunday going live, and yeah, launching something new. It's gonna be, I don't know, do I reveal it? No, I'm not gonna reveal it yet. So it's gonna be a community. It's gonna be super affordable. I'm gonna give access to people who can't do necessarily one-on-one, but still want to win. So stay tuned on social. If you want early access, DM me, maybe in private, I can share more, but it's been a pleasure. Keep me updated on your progress, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a
Yeah,
good
when are you gonna share more on that, Chris?
Yeah, let's chat on Instagram.
Okay, brother, hit me up.
All right. Have a good one.